The party was planned months ago to celebrate Matthew Bowyer's 50th birthday Friday with 140 family members and friends who stuck by him during his troubled times, and only those he still wanted to remain in his life. This was not only going to be a lavish 5-hour affair at the Bottega Angelina restaurant in Laguna Niguel, California, but also a celebration of life and bringing closure to a dark chapter in his life. It was the day, April 4th, Bowyer was also going to be sentenced by the federal government for running one of the largest illegal bookmaking operations in the country, captivating the nation and all of Japan, with the ugly involvement of Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara. Bowyer's sentencing has instead been delayed to October 3rd, giving him more time to get his life in order, but also adding 6 more months of stress while thinking about his fate. "I would have preferred to get this over with, man," Bowyer told USA Today Sports. "I know people have told me that the longer the delay, the better for sentencing. It's just the anxiety of the unknown that sucks. Follow every MLB game, latest MLB scores, stats, schedules and standings. I feel like I'm in a pickle between second and third base, but closer to second base." Bowyer, who pleaded guilty last August to running an illegal gambling business, money laundering and false tax returns, faces 18 years in prison, but says he expects to receive a sentence of 17 to 37 months after cooperating with government officials. He'll certainly receive a lighter penalty than the 57 months in prison that Mizuhara was sentenced for bank and tax fraud, and stealing nearly $17 million from Ohtani. Mizuhara, one of more than 700 clients of Bowyer, placed at least 19,000 bets in excess of $300 million with Bowyer's bookmaking operation from September 2021 to January 2024, gambling up to $100,000 a game. It's the Ohtani-Mizuhara relationship that has fascinated film producers and national media outlets. Bowyer says he has written a 87,000-word, 16-chapter book on his life called Recalibrate, that will also be published once he knows his fate. "My life was like the Wolf of Wall Street, but if Shohei's name wasn't involved in this," Bowyer said, "nobody would give an expletive about me. You're talking about the biggest athlete in the world. I don't think we'll ever see a player like this again in our lifetime." We may also spend the rest of Ohtani's lifetime wondering just how much Ohtani knew about Mizuhara's gambling addiction, and whether he had even the slightest involvement. "I know the whole world wants to know," Bowyer says, "but to this day, I truly don't know. They are the only two people in the world who really know the truth, Shohei and Ippei. I truly believe that Shohei doesn't gamble, but I think he knew some area of demise with Ippei, just maybe not to that extent." The federal government and Major League Baseball believe Ohtani was nothing more than a victim of fraud. He was quickly cleared by federal investigators and MLB of having no knowledge that Mizuhara was stealing from his account, nor aware of any of the 19,000 bets Mizuhara placed with Bowyer for nearly 2.5 years. "It's definitely possible Ohtani didn't know anything, but plausible is a different answer," Bowyer says. "I gambled bigger than most. I hid my emotions better than most. But you can only hide so much when you're in serious turmoil." And clearly, he was in serious turmoil. If this is true that Ippei was the guy, and gambling all by himself the whole time, I don't know how you could hide that from your best friend, someone you were with almost 24 hours a day. They were inseparable, and if you really could hide that from his best friend for so long, then how could Shohei Ohtani not see $17 million gone from his account? While Mizuhara has been proven to be a degenerate gambler, there is not a shred of evidence he ever bet on baseball. Not a single bet involving was made with Bowyer involved baseball, Bowyer insists, which was supported by the federal government and MLB's investigations. Bowyer says MLB never interviewed him during its investigation, but a person with direct knowledge of the MLB investigations said an attempt to contact Bowyer was rebuffed by his attorney. "My obligation was to the federal government," Bowyer says. "If we had wanted to talk, there was really no value in it for me." Considering the exorbitant amount of the wagers, Bowyer assumed all along that Ohtani was aware of Mizuhara's gambling addiction, particularly with Ohtani's name on multiple $500,000 wire transfers. Yet, he never met Ohtani, never talked to Ohtani, never once sought the truth. "I never had a decision with Ippei directly on who's making the bets," says Bowyer, who originally met Mizuhara at a private poker game in 2021 after an Angels-Padres game in San Diego. "People ask me all of the time, why wouldn't you? I say, why would I? It's not my business to pry into their business. How are they getting the money? Who's betting for who?" There comes a point where you don't want the answer, and I was afraid of the truth. I didn't do drugs. I didn't harm people, I was just a businessman providing a service to people. Once Bowyer serves his time, he wants to prove a different type of service. He wants to help athletes avoid the gambling web that ensnared 5 minor league players last season, including Tucupita Marcano, a former San Diego Padres player who received a lifetime ban for placing more than $150,000 worth of bets on baseball games. Umpire Pat Hoberg, considered one of the game's finest home plate umpires, was fired last season for his involvement with sports gambling. Atlanta minor leaguer David Fletcher, who placed smaller wagers on football games with Bowyer, still is being investigated by MLB.